Hey guys, this is Julian. It's great to see you. I am back here today with Fix Your Project Live. This is the show where I fix submissions from you guys over on Patreon. Really looking forward to this. I've been having a lot of fun with these streams lately. I want to say a thank you to everybody who just joined over on Patreon. I had a few new people submit today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the after party of this call, of this stream, which is our monthly meetup call, which happens at 1 p.m. It is now 11:02, running a little bit late, but we're not far gone. If you're new to the channel and you just seen this video, if you want to submit your project file for next month's stream, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/JulianGray. The link will be on the screen in a moment, and you can submit your tracks. I will work on them on the live stream, and we'll try to make them better. We'll try to fix them. I have no promises there, but I think that generally we have some success on this channel and on this series, making songs a little bit better than when we originally got them. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into today's stream. We are going to be working on 4 tracks today. Let me pull up the list of what we are working on. Here we are. We have a song from Mirage Black called The Instinct. Carl Stevens submitted The Brightest Days. We have A$AP Rocky's Sundress DACA remix. I think we're going to have to mute. We're going to have to mute the audio, maybe the vocal from that one, just because don't want to get the stream taken down. And we have Infinikid's Curiosity, which I'm really excited to check out. He always nails it. So, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. You can see the subscribe button on the screen right now, and you can click on it below the video, smash the like button. If you're over on Twitch, which we are actually multicasting to Twitch as well, make sure to hit that follow button. And if you guys have any questions throughout the stream, let me know in the comments, or I guess you would call it the chat, as we go along here. So, we have 4 tracks today. We're going to jump into them in chronological order. It just makes the most sense to me. Let's go with The Instinct first. I'm going to try to open this in Live 10. If it doesn't work, then we're going to open it in Live 11. Yep, it is in fact an 11 project. Let's go ahead and do that. And we will get this thing rolling. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm having a lovely time. It's been probably one of the most eventful weeks I've had in a few years. I went and saw my good friend Eddie play over at Academy yesterday, or 2 days ago, with One True God and Tiny Cat, good friends. And then I yesterday saw Laid Back Luke and hung out with him for a little while, which was really cool. He always puts on a great show. He actually has been DJing on an iPhone, which is incredible. Like, no CDJs at all, just straight up using an iPhone on stage. Respect the hustle. Don't know if it could be me, but I admire what he's doing. All right, so I am hopping into this thing. Let me go ahead and minimize Live 10, and this is what we're dealing with today. This is The Instinct by Mirage Black. Let's go ahead and start this thing and give it a listen. First things first, I want to make sure that our audio is routed correctly. It looks good, and you should be able to hear this as we go. All right, here we go. For some reason, I am not hearing that. This is lovely. As usual, audio problems. This is something that we never can evade on this live stream series. For some reason, I'm not hearing that. Maybe I have to give me a moment here. Not hearing it. Ah, yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. One moment. We'll be there very shortly. I promise. I have to set up my audio output for my monitors, and then we'll be good to go. And that is my cat. All right. We should be good to go now. Let me turn up my speakers. Yep. All right. If you guys can hear me now, then we're good to go. And yes, Kiki, I am not kidding. Laidback Luke uses an iPhone on stage as his primary DJ setup, which is really cool, actually. He did a whole vlog about it. I'll have to link it. All right. Without any further ado, here we go. Let me know that you can hear me, and yeah, we'll go from there. So far, so good. Seems like we're missing some audio files. I think we're missing the drums, conceivably. Let me see if this helps. Daka, it should be fine as long as I turn off the vocal. All right, so that is our loop. First and foremost, excellent work, man. I quite like this. You know that I'm a fan of your orchestral, not necessarily orchestral, I guess like OST style music. It's just very unique and cool sounding. I think that in general, the writing is pretty cool. I think that it could potentially use a little bit more in the way of mixing and sound design. I want to give a critical listen here and try to find things that we can improve upon as we go through. And as we do that, I think I can tweak a few things as we go, and we can try to get some of the sound sounding a little bit more sophisticated. I think that's going to really help you here. So let me go ahead and start this a little bit into the track, and we'll find things that I think could be improved. Everybody watching, take this with a grain of salt because I am missing some of his samples. So I'm going to throw a span on the master. See that here. General balance is pretty good. So I think what really could be stronger is definitely the low sounds and some of the sound design in the low end. It doesn't really have a super interesting tone. So this is nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at span again. You'll notice that most of our bass is kind of situated here at like 85 to 100. We want to make sure that we have that low octave in there. And it looks like you have multiple layers for this. So you have like a sub octave. But the 40 hertz is not super evident here. It's not the most obvious part, which I think we should flip on its head. We should try to make that 40 hertz like really forward. This might be a little bit too much on the low pass. Let me pull this up to like 300 and make the curve a little bit sharper. So you have a little bit more to deal with here. And then I think we can actually turn this track up a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is go within the bass group and make sure that our bass is prioritized down here at the fundamental level. Like this octave should be our priority, and then everything else can follow suit. So that already, just turning it up a few decibels has helped and revealing a little bit more of that mid-low. I don't love that you're clipping mid-chain here, but I don't think it's making a huge difference. I even want to take that sub up a little bit more. And then on our mid bass, I think that this could also be a little bit fuller. So what I want to do first and foremost is move this saturator before time-based. I don't want to be saturating all of the delay tails of something like a delay or a reverb. I think that's going to give you a lot of issues, and it's going to make the mix very clouded. So what I want to do is put the saturator first, and I think we can actually afford to go a little bit heavier on the saturation once we do that. Let's go ahead and take this to like a soft sine. And then we're going to push the drive a little bit. I think that'll be fine. You can even try like a medium curve. Just trying to thicken this up and make it more interesting. Right now it's coming in way too hot, so I'm going to turn soft clip on, and we can actually pull the output gain back a little bit to compensate for how much we're pushing the drive. So to me, that's sounding fuller and better. And what I'm actually going to do is, because you're actually clipping here and then you're not clipping on the group level and you have 10 decibels of headroom here, I'm actually going to grab all of these and turn these down by like, let's say 4 decibels, so like negative 10 point, whatever it was, 10.5. And then here I'm going to add 4, so we'll pull this to negative 6. Just, I mean, in a floating point DAW like this, where the summing isn't calculated until the very end of the mastering chain, doesn't really matter. It's just a pet peeve of mine, and it's like for the traditionalists out there that are mixing with hardware and are doing outboard gear, you never want to send a clipped signal through it unless it's an intentional choice. So you want to make sure you're not clipping mid-chain. Yeah, that should help there. I'm actually going to take an EQ on the bass group, and actually what we can do is take a look at how the balance is on the bass group. Maybe we can flatten this out with some EQ, and then also add some compression to the group. So I think like a little boost here, like 200, could be really nice and fill the bass, make it feel a little bit more substantial. So that feels better to me. I think that the delays are a little bit too much in the high end. I'm going to pull this back to like 500 hertz. And maybe we can do that on any other layers too. It appears that's actually the only one. Yeah, that's cool. Welcome to all the new viewers who just tuned in. See you over on Twitch and on YouTube. This is Fix Your Project stream. I will work on your songs. This is a song by Mirage Black called The Instinct. So the bass is sounding a lot thicker now, and by proxy, in my opinion, a lot better. I want to try actually compressing the bass group, and actually the glue compressor sounds better for this. So I'm going to use that. Let's go ahead and dial in the settings a little bit here, and let's try to level this out a bit. Now you have some side chain I believe, on a group or on a track level. So I'm actually going to move that up to the group level just so that we can get a summing compressor before that. And yeah, so then we can flatten all of the bases together into one big glued signal, and then we can sidechain. We never want to glue a post sidechain signal because it's just going to undo what you did. It looks like we have a Twitch spam bot in the chat. Everybody send some scorn. Yes, I want to buy followers and buy viewers on Twitch. That's really sounds like a great idea. Okay, so here's our kick sidechain. I want to, before we do this, I'm actually going to turn that off for the time being. I want to dial in like the consolidated signal with the glue compressor here. So let's go ahead and pull back the threshold until we start seeing a little bit of movement on our compressor. Okay, so we're coming in hot. I'm actually going to pull the gain out a little bit on this EQ so that we can compensate for that. I'm going to give it like, 3 or 4 decibels of gain reduction. Give it back here. And I'm actually going to turn soft clip on. Hi, Cyberonics and Andreas. Good to see you guys. Hope to see you guys in the after party, the Discord meetup. So I actually like these settings. I'm going to make the release a little bit longer. Ratio feels good to me, but this actually really glues together the bass signal. I'm going to A/B it for you so you can hear it. Nice and full. Maybe a little bit too much compression. I'm going to pull this up to like -5, -4.5. See how it encapsulates the body of this really well. I love that. All right, that's enough work on the bass. I don't want to sit on that for too long. I want to get to some of these other things too. There's this other section called the theme. Let's go ahead and bring these things in one by one. If I hear things, we can address them as we go. Okay, so I'm missing your piano, which is probably contributing to my perception of the arrangement. Sorry about that. I just don't have your piano plugin. Let's bring in the pads. Oh, and I must re-enable the baseline sidechain. I actually want to dial this in first before we go anywhere else because the sidechain is looking kind of loose. And I've been saying this for a while, but I think I'm actually going to make a video on how to do sidechain because it's something that I've noticed a lot of people don't have a full handle on, and it's something that is really crucial to like a really tight mix. So I want to dial this in, and as we do that, I'll show you how to do it. So right now you can see because the EQ is set so low, the full kick transient is here. So you can see like it goes from like here and then all the way. It's like this full length here, and we don't want that. We only want to grab like a very small part of that kick. Otherwise, the entire signal of the bass is going to get obliterated for that entire length of the transient. You can see how long that is. So what I want to do is listen for only the click of the kick, which is like the high end. So this is a very clicky kick, so I'm not sure how much mileage we'll get here, but we've shortened it as much as we can. We can pull this threshold back down now. So even though we're compressing more, it's going to sound like less because it's so much faster. And then on the attack time, I want to make sure it's immediate. So as soon as it hears the kick, it's going into effect. Hear how much more tight that sounds. And then I can add a little bit of a look ahead to prevent like the clicking effect that you get on sidechain. This is just a way that you can look forward into the arrangement, 10 milliseconds and then compensate a little bit for what's coming next. The click comes from zero crossing, so like when the sidechain is triggered again before the transient comes back correctly. So that should help a little bit with that. All right, so here we go. This would be the circumstance where I would use something like a ghost kick, just because that kick has so much high end and it's so long. I would go a little bit tighter and shorter, but you know, I think it is what it is for right now. I don't want to go down too much of a tangent with that. But if you guys are interested in a sidechain tutorial, let me know, because I'm thinking about doing one. So then I actually want to turn the kick up, and the reason for that is if you look at a master level, let's say like you do like Pro L2. Unfortunately, I don't have his mastering either, so I can't look at that. But if you look at Pro L2, let me solo the kick. Kick is sitting down here at like -6 to -8. And the bass, let's bring that in. The bass is like, on average, probably closer to -6. It's a little bit dynamic, but I think that there needs to be a bigger disparity between the kick volume and the bass volume. So I'm going to turn up the bass, I think, by maybe, or I'm sorry, I'm going to turn up the kick by maybe a decibel or two. I think that's going to help the mix a lot. Now, there's not a whole lot of low-mid information to this sub. I would almost reveal a little bit more in this auto filter. And again, we're coming out way hot here, and you're over-compressing that. I'm gonna pull that back a little bit. And maybe we can add some harmonics to that low-mid with something like a saturator so that you get a little bit more information. It's just not super interesting in the low mids, and I think that's to the detriment of your song. Okay, so that's better. We're still way over compressing. We can afford to turn that up a bit now. All right. Okay, this I don't agree with. I think you need that low end. Now, on this compressor, I think that this might be a little bit too much. I see the tone you're going for. It's like that 80s kick tone. But I think it's just a little bit too much compression. Now there's like a hit. So I can't tell if that's the actual kick itself or if it's like the reverb, but you have like a ticking ticking. Okay, so that must be the kick itself, or an effect, because I. Oh, that's the wrong kick, duh. Huh. That's weird. It's still clicking. What if I do this? Okay, well, I'm not too mad about it. I think it's a subjective choice to have that flange on the flam on the front of the kick, but you know, I personally wouldn't do it, but it works for the synthwave genre. All right, let's go ahead and continue bringing stuff in one by one. This needs to be louder. Maybe not that loud. Okay, same thing for the snare. I think the snare could come up in volume a bit too, maybe like 3 or 4 decibels. I just want those drums to be more forward. This is just a subjective thing. I'm like a dance music writer, so I love my drums out in the front, but this could be perceived as too much. I just think that like the 80s era that I think you're trying to go for really requires that forward punchy dry percussion or wet percussion, so I want to make sure that it's out in the front. So I actually feel that snare should be even louder than it currently is. It's just that we can't push it any louder comfortably without clipping. So, I mean, if it were me, I would turn everything down and bring that snare up a bit more. I mean, with a little bit of high end, we might be able to fake the volume. Like perceived as brighter and sharper. So I think that this guy could be really cool to like do some stereo effects on, whether it's panning or delay. It seems like you've tried that. I think that some stereo on this like worm type sound would make it cooler. Feels a little bit underwhelming right now. Like maybe at like 20% or something. I'd almost say like some better reverb too. This is the Ableton stock verb. Oh, it seems like you have a reverb attached. That's the C send. Or is that? Yeah, that's C. Yeah. Yeah. There's some sort of reverb baked into this sound. I think that you could actually go for a little bit more with something a little cooler sounding, like maybe like a Valhalla vintage. Like, go 80s. I always say like the most crucial thing to making your track sound like expensive, as silly as that sounds, is like premium as possible, is like a really tasteful reverb. It just sounds good. Yeah, to me, like the drums are still way too quiet here. I would like pull all of this down here. Like, to me, that feels better from a mix point of view, but again, take that with a grain of salt. That's about as much as I'm going to do on the Instinct. I think this is a really cool project. Needs some work on the sound design and mix front. I can continue working on this for a while, but unfortunately I don't have the time today. I'm going to move on to the next one. That was a half hour on this one. Really great track. Love the concepts. I love the OST vibes as usual for you. I'm going to go ahead and save this one. Everybody in the chat, please give Douglas Black, or Mirage Black, I should say, a nice round of applause. Great track. Maybe we'll hear some more from him in the after party over on Discord. All right. Great work, buddy. That is The Instinct by Mirage Black. Let's go ahead and open up the next one. This is Brightest Days by Carl Stevens. I'm going to pull this up in Live 11. Actually, let me try it in Live 10 first. Now, I will say, going into 2024, when Ableton 12 comes out, I'm going to stop doing the Ableton 10 projects. So if you have an Ableton 10 project, I'm only going to open it in 11 and 12. I'm not going to open it in 10 anymore, just because it's getting to an age that you should be upgrading anyway. And also, it's just too many versions to wrangle. So we're going to use Ableton 11. It seems to be the one for this one. Great work on the last one, Douglas. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. This is Ghost Pepper Intergalactic. Brightest Days. Let's go ahead and check this out. Arcus, good to see you. Wickwire, hello. We got everybody in the chat today. All of the friends. I love the simplicity of this arrangement. I think it could be really beautiful if we can get the balance right. So, first impression is that I'm noticing a lot of dullness, especially in the high end. In the plucked ARP sound specifically. I'm not sure how much mileage we can get because I don't have access to your synth. But I'm going to try to brighten it up a little bit. That's what I would do if I was to mix this, which is what I'm going to try. And while we listen here, I'm going to put on Span and Pro L so I can monitor things. Let's see. Pro L2. So we can see the volume over time. We can see the span, which is the spectral balance. And you can see we have a lot of build up here in the low end, not a lot of information in the highs. We're going to fix it. Haley, good to see you. No worries on being a little bit late. I hope to see you in the after party over on Discord. All right. Really cool writing. I think that, again, once we address the mix, it's going to really come together, and I'm going to try to do that for you. Shouldn't be too hard, actually. Just priorities in the mix are not right now, and I think just 15 minutes on mixing will really elevate this track. Haley, negative 14 degrees. Where are you located? That's brutal. Like Montana or something? Like Midwest? Super smooth, man. Love this concept. Let's see what we're working with. So the drums are baked together, which might be problematic. We'll try to work off of what we have, but ideally in the future, I would prefer separated stems for this. Okay. And all the stuff you have frozen, I'm going to group. EQ. Cool. Dayton, Ohio. Wind chill. Yeah, it's figured as much. Midwest sounds about right. I guess Ohio's technically mid-Atlantic? East Coast? No. I don't know how you guys view yourselves, but I think it's technically Midwest. All right. Sounding good. I think, again, this one is going to be really easy because you only have like 6 or 7 tracks. I think that what will really make a huge difference here is getting the mixed priorities right, like the right things in the right volume. So let's call this the drum group. And this we can call the bass. And now we have access to everything. What I'm going to do is actually just start messing with levels. I think that first and foremost, let's go ahead and mute everything except for the bass and the drum. And we're going to try to balance these two out. So first of all, let's go ahead and just do the bass. Bass is sitting down here at like -15 to -12. I'm going to actually compress that so we have a little bit less movement. And we'll set it at -15 as our, or maybe a little bit lower. Let's say like -18. Make it quick and really pull it back. So this is going to be challenging because you have no high information. There's this there's this misconception that bass should never have high information, which will actually really diminish the impact of your bass. You need a lot of high information for a bass to come through. Clarity and punch is in the high end, actually. The best basses have a nice little high end and a lot of low end combined together. This is just a little bit too egregiously low pass. I'm going to try to create some high end through some effects, but ideally, if I was mixing this and you have the stems originally, I would remove some high end cut. It seems like you're like low passing at like 1,000 hertz or something. So I'm going to add a saturator, and we're going to add like a pretty aggressive saturation on this to try to reinvent some of that high end. Let's see what we can do here. And funnily enough, I'm actually going to pull some low mids and add high end here. And this might seem counterintuitive, but again, the high end is actually where your clarity in the bass is going to be. And you have so much low end here, I want to make sure that we balance it with some nice crispness. Wickwire, colder than Canada. Charisma's in the chat too. Man, everybody's here today. I'm so happy to see all of you. Wickwire, what part of Canada are you in? I'm actually announcing a show later today. It's going to be in Vancouver. Or not Vancouver, sorry, Seattle, but it's adjacent to Vancouver. So if you want to come through, let me know. It's way too much in this low end. I'm going to actually put this before the saturation. Try to control it a little bit. And we'll put an EQ after, too. Adding a little bit more high end to it. So this is like the before and after. It's going to be night and day. Right? See how muffly that is compared to... So much better. All right, let's throw the bass and the drums together now. This might be challenging because the drums are baked together, but I think that we can actually mix this. So the drums are clearly way too quiet. So I'm going to pull the bass back, and we're going to mix this backwards. We're going to pull stuff down that we don't want loud and leave the stuff that's loud. Okay, on the EQ, give some high end. So that's already better. Now, my one wish is that I could sidechain this bass to just the kick, which is not really possible here because your kick is baked into the group. What I will try, though, is I'll use a sidechain, And instead of using our traditional like high pass to grab the click of the kick, which we can't do, I'm actually going to listen for a very narrow frequency down here at like, let's say like 180 or 200 hertz. That's like that. And maybe we'll try to like really go narrow and see if this goes short enough. That's pretty good. It's not too bad. Man, I still feel like that bass on the high end is just not enough. I would almost like continue pulling this mid-low out and like add some amplitude or something, or I'm sorry, amplification, like an amp emulation. So this is like a fundamental problem that you should probably deal with at a pre-stem level, but that's feeling a lot better to me. Maybe we can tighten up the transients with like a transient shaper. Now, the problem with this is that I actually only want to transient shape the kick. I don't want to transient shape the other percussion, which is going to be very hard or next to impossible to do. Yeah, you see how the snare gets obliterated there? Unfortunately, that's as best I can do on those. So that's about as much as I can do to pull that bass forward. I mean, it's a lot brighter and cooler than this. I would love to work on this again with like more broken down stems, but I think that that's as much as I can do with the drum and the bass there. Let's go ahead and bring in the next thing. I don't have Supermassive or your Neutron equalizer, but that should be okay. So you're automating the gain here. I'm going to go ahead and give some volume here. This reminds me of if you know the band what's it called? Wolfpack? Kind of gives me that kind of vibe. It's cool. Yeah. Ooh. Silky. All right, we got to turn everything down though because we're clipping. But the balance is feeling better. Actually collapse these first. Do this. Oh, I can't actually do that because this is automated. This is why I don't advise automating your master gain. But I'm going to pull all of these back a bit, and we can pull this one down in the utility, I think, here. Yeah. All right, check this out. Okay, so the drums were actually tracked for real, and you try to save me time by summing it. Yeah, it's actually better for you to just send as stems. I think I can actually do more with that. Let's grab this percussion and see if we can work that in. So a little bit over pan to the left. I'm going to turn pan to maybe like 10 degrees, 20 degrees to the right. And Ableton's pan is actually not a real pan pot. What it does is it turns one side down and lets the other one come through at full volume if you pan to the right or left. So if you have a right pan, it's actually not panning everything to the right. It's actually just turning the left channel down and letting the right channel be at full volume, and vice versa. So what this is actually doing is actually turning the left channel down and bringing the right into priority a little bit more. So brings the balance of the mix a little bit closer, because you have this one conga that's really left and very bright in the left, and I don't want that to overdo it. All right, Brightest Days ARP. Let's see what this is doing. I'm planning to do EDC as well. I hope I can make it this year. Maybe we could do a little meetup. Yeah, I don't have Neutron, but and then you can see that kick is just way too loud, but there's nothing I can do really because it's baked in. What I can try though is maybe a little bit of clipping. Pull off the top of that transient. Why is it not coming up? G clip. Clip. Well, that's not working. That's great. Maybe we'll do the glue compressor with a soft clip. Should help. Yeah, we got to dial in those drums, but overall, I think we've made a huge positive change on this. So yeah, man, I'd love to keep mixing this and to get the stems and do it right. If you are interested, I actually offer mixing on a track by track. Anybody in the chat, actually, a few $100, I'll mix your track. I'll make it sound as good as possible. Not at a small time allotment like this, but yeah, if you're interested, let me know. Hit me up on a DM, and I'd love to mix this. But I think that this is a huge improvement to the original. I'm actually, this is one I really want to compare and contrast. So I'm actually going to bounce this to the desktop, and we'll listen back at the original project and see how that sounds. Just as a before and after, because this one was kind of transformative, I think. And really cool stuff, man. It reminds me of like Deantown by Wolfpack. I think that's the track I'm thinking of. Okay, so I'm going to save this as Julian version. And then we can open up the original. And we can compare and see how much I fixed it. I'm proud of this one. Let's see. All right. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Compare and contrast, guys. Let me know which one you think is cooler. I'm going to turn off. Yeah, there's nothing on the master. Cool. There you go. Original mix. Right? Pretty cool. Cool. Compared and contrasted. And yeah, I think that we can call that one done. That's as much as I can do with the stems you gave me. Next time, if you want to send me the drum stems, I can do a little bit more. But cool track. Just needs some mixing. Those are my critiques. You can download the session after the stream is up. And yeah, great work, man. I love this one. Everybody give a nice clap for Ghost Pepper Intergalactic. The cool little funk vibe. Really like that one. We got 16 viewers here and 2 over on Twitch. Welcome, everybody. If you guys are interested, I do these streams every month for my patrons. You can submit your project file. I will fix it, quote unquote, on the stream. And you can submit over on Patreon each month. All you have to do is go over to patreon.com/JulianGray for more information. And then those of you who are new to the YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe. Oh, it didn't do the thing. Oh, well. I usually have a visual on the screen for subscriptions, but, you know, it's not working. That's okay. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. It does help it with the YouTube algorithm. It seems that the algorithm is on our side today. We have quite a few viewers. All right. Great work. Love that one. I'm glad that you like the direction as well. Let's move on to the next one. This is Sundress by A$AP Rocky, DACA remix. Again, like I said in the beginning, not sure I can play the vocal for this one, but we'll try our best. Maybe I'll do some crafty transpose up 12 semitones or something so that they don't detect the vocal. But for the time being, let's go ahead and listen to this. I'm going to take the vocal out just because I don't want to get assassinated by WMG or whatever. All right, let's go ahead and listen to this. Sorry if it doesn't translate the same without the voice, but best I can do. And next time, if you want me to play the whole thing, try to avoid copywritten stuff. I would love to hear this with the vocal on it. There goes my subscribe button. Go hit it. Smash it, as it were. Oh, yeah. We're going to do a meetup call after this over on Discord for all the patrons, and you can submit the track there, and we can all listen to the version with the vocal. All right, good bones on this one. I think we can make some adjustments to the mix, really take this to the next level. Nice. One thing I will say is, like, from a writing point of view, I think if you made this an 8-bar phrase instead of just a like a 2-bar loop like this, even like a 4-bar phrase could be cooler. Just try some different notes every so often. Cool build. Now, if you're in the chat, Daka, I would love to know your like references on this, because I'm getting like a abstract, like a Joyride type feeling, like bass house. I don't want to like wrongly push it that way if it's not what you're trying to do. It could also be like a UK like bassline type vibe, huh? Yeah, so that's right. Danny said it sounds a lot better with the vocal, like the phrasing. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry that I can't play it, man. I'm really looking forward to listening to it in my own time, and also like maybe on the Discord call if you submit it. Just because you know, I'd love to hear how it plays into this, and I can see that actually that carrying the sound. Danny, what are the references for this? Are you trying to do like UK bass line? Are you trying to do like more like a bass house type thing? I'm gonna actually try to thicken up the bass. I think that's one of my main gripes, is it sounds a little bit too like vanilla on the low end. Not super interesting. I think we can do something cooler. But excellent track. Like the mix isn't too bad. I think that it just needs some grit a little bit. What up, my dude? Hope all is well. Yeah, all is great today. We are fixing projects for the people. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. I'm gonna try adding some stuff to this bass line to try to thicken it up. He said Joyride is an inspiration. I'm friends with Abstract, so I'm loosely familiar with the genre. It's not like my like anchor, like it's not the place I write from, but I think we can emulate what they do. I know those guys pretty well, so you have like a high layer and a low layer here. So this is like your sub. I think that your sub is actually not subby enough. I'm gonna add a little bit below like 100, like this. Cool. And then I'm going to add some saturation just to thicken up that. This is like go-to for me. And I think your low end might be slightly too wide. So I'm going to actually reduce the width on the sub. Let's try like 150. And let me take a look at your patch, actually. So this is just like a Reese. You have like a lot of stereo width to this. What I would suggest is actually going with an odd number of unison so that you actually have one voice totally centered. Just because your sub, you want to have that, like, you know, balance to the center. I'm going to turn the blend down so that your center voice is slightly louder than the rest. Yeah, that's cool. And then on here, I'm going to go to global, and I'm going to turn the width down of the unison maybe to like 80%. And that way, it's not as wide as it currently is. I think it's just too stereo wide in the stereo field. It's kind of making it a little bit overwhelming. Yeah. And then on this top layer, I think we can do something more interesting with the sound design here. So maybe we can try doing something in Serum. Let me make a copy of this so I don't completely screw up your track if you don't like it. But I'm going to, you know, try some sound design. What I would suggest is something like an FM and do like this kind of thing. And this one, I think you'd want all of that high end. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to add some volume to that. It just doesn't feel bright enough to me. Maybe there's some other stuff going on here. I just know that that FM thing is like how those guys get that tone. You could even like conceivably do like an envelope, so every time the note hits, it's like. I don't know if you're into that, but it's kind of something I would suggest doing if you're trying to do that joyride abstract type vibe. And then you just want to completely obliterate it with like over compression. That's kind of the vibe. Yeah, Andrea said perhaps harmonizing the second oscillator as well, the classic fifth. I think it's actually doing that with the re-oscillation, or because of the FM. I'm by no means a bass house producer, but that's how they get that sound. Um, you could probably go in Splice or like Evolution of Sound or something and find Bass House Pack and probably get a cooler sound than that. But that's better than what you had, I think. I'm going to go ahead and run this through a saturation too. That's like way too loud, so I'm going to pull that back to like -6. Let's call this like top bass. This is bottom bass. Or we can call it sub bass. What is? Oh, this is the backup. So this is what you originally had. And then on the LFO tool, I think you can go all the way down, like. Bass could come up a little bit, I think. I don't know. You have to tell me if you like that. It could be it could be totally trash. Then on the hi-hats, I think we can afford a little bit more brightness. That could just be volume, actually. I think like a decibel or two. I would actually de-verb the shaker a little bit, and if we're gonna use vintage, I would say go for like a newer tone, just a brighter tone. And I would make these like stereo width, right? Like or stereo wide. So like go to the mid side mode on the EQ, pull the mids down on the high end. Let's do it with the 4. It's easier. And then on the sides, I'm going to use the 7 and pull that up. Maybe I should start a bass house project. I'm good friends with Chill as well, like the Speed House girl. She's so fucking cool. One of my favorite new artists. Probably same thing on this guy. A little bit too much verb on the hats. We want it to be like really sharp. I'm gonna make it now. On our sub, I think we should move the LFO tool to the end and make that really tight. It doesn't feel tight enough right now. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Make this a little bit shorter. So on your MIDI, you have all these like ghost notes. I think they're a little bit too loud. Like I would personally take those down a little bit. They're just kind of overwhelming. In my opinion, it's just like too much. They're sick, but they're just too loud. I'm just going to highlight those really fast and dial those back a little bit. Like so. And we're going to do a lock automation and just copy that across. And you can probably apply these to everything. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but yeah, there you go. Clap doesn't feel like it has enough bite to me. Like I would actually go like this. It's quiet too. Less reverb. It's just this bass house stuff is so sharp, right? Like you want it to be like really in your face. And then I would also say, like, you can pan these. Like, pan the clap slightly right and pan the snare quite slightly left. Yeah, stereo flam. It's still too much on the verb here. And maybe the air and the EQ should be before the reverb so that we're not brightening the reverb tail. On the kick, I'm going to let loose a little bit on the high end and actually pull some mids out. Give it some boost around here. Got a nice solid like low end of that kick. I love that. So I feel like the kick needs to be quieter slightly, the bass needs to be quieter slightly, and the hi-hats and stuff need to come way up. Notably the clap. We're kind of hitting the ceiling here though, so I'm not trying to push it over the limit. And this is also like white or oddly stereo. I would say like if we could dial this back to a mono, it would be better. Almost also feels like the claps are like out of, or the hi-hats are out of time or something. Yeah, there you go. Maybe not like fully mono, but like very narrow. And let's see if we can add anything else that's not the vocal, because I don't have that. Something about the groove feels weird to me. I would use like an actual Ableton groove pool to like swing it if you're gonna swing it, and not do it manually, because it feels like there's some sort of discrepancy between the groove of like, let's say this, and the actual like hi-hat. So I would say that would be something I would look into. This could probably come up. All right, well, that's quite a bit of work on this one, I think. That should be good enough. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Sundress Remix, ASAP Rocky, the DACA Remix. I will send you this project back, and I hope to hear the vocal over on the Discord call after this. I think that'll be awesome. All right, so everybody give a nice little clap for DACA for this one. He really nailed it. Has that amazing deep house, like bass house vibe. All it needed is a little sound design and thickening, and I think it made a huge difference. So everybody give him a round of applause in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and save this, and then we're gonna move on to our last project of the day, which will probably be a fast one, because Infinikid is an incredible producer. I don't know why you even make me do this. Your stuff's always so good. Great work, Danny. Charisma says, I want to teach you how to make wook bass. please do make a tutorial. I'd love to see that. It's a sound I haven't done or heard in a long time. My last time doing anything like that was like my collab with Mr. Bill, like 5 years ago or something like that. We've kind of gone in different directions. I haven't talked to Bill in a while. I'm doing like the progressive and techno and trance thing, and he's kind of doing the bass music, and I think he's doing a podcast now, which is cool. Love that guy. Bill is such a talented dude, one of the most talented I know. All right, this is Curiosity by Infinikid. I have a feeling this is going to be perfect. Maybe no fixing required. We'll see. But I will give you any feedback I have, and if I need to fix anything, then I will. All right. Charisma, I don't know if you knew, but I have more than one Mr. Bill collab. One of them is called Collab Alliance. The other one is called Julian, named after yours truly. My throat is so dry and so raspy, I hope that I can make it through the Discord call. I've been going out every night for like 4 nights, so been tired. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I can't get over that animation. I'm so proud of that one. Here it is again, so you can see it. Make sure you do it. And yeah, I will play this Curiosity by Infinikid. Let's see. Gives me like Systemis off the top. Sheesh. A little bit of like Max Cooper too, if you know him. Reminds me of my older material when I used to do the really, like, for lack of a better word, like ASMR type pops and stuff in my music. Douglas, I worked on your song. You can watch it in the VOD. You'll see it. Such a cool little micro arrangement. Mix is so tight, man. You've really nailed the low end. Ah, that's awesome. I hope that this drop goes into like a progressive thing. So beautiful. I was waiting for this. Gives me a lot of like Nigel Good, like early Silk. Really well done. I will say this one is very polished. It has like everything you need. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with this one. Like as it stands, the mix is really solid. You've nailed the low end. You've nailed the writing, and the instrumentation is beautiful. The sound design is beautiful. My critiques would be surely on a subjective level, and I think that it mostly has to do with arrangement. There's a few things that I think that could be cool, and it's things that I would encourage you to try, not necessarily things that are necessary to change, like mixing and other stuff that other submissions have had. I think one of the main ones is that the bass feels kind of sparse in the drop. Like it works really well in these builds and in the intro. Like, but that feels fundamentally the same as this. And that's like your drop, right? So I think that one of the reasons why the drop feels similar to the intro and like kind of feels like a continuation of the same thing is because there's not like a fundamental shift in the low end. And you set up like this really cool like eighth note thing with this like plucked sound here. Like you're setting up this eighth note, especially in the low end. I think it's this one. So it goes from this like, it's actually a 16th note. Goes from this 16th note feeling into like back into a halftime feeling, which to me doesn't satisfy my need for something like new here. This drop feels like another repeat of the intro. So I would try personally. I would try to go a little bit more, or I should say a little bit less sparse on the bass in the drop. And differentiate it a little bit more from like these down sections, like here. Like you can revert to this and the B section of the drop, but I would say like in this big A section that you want to come out of the build, I would say it would be wise to try to do something a little bit like more energetic and a little bit further from the previous part. Like what if you kept that 8th note or 16th note bass idea going through here, so that it carries that energy through and you continue building rather than just kind of sitting. But I will say, like I said before, the track is very unique. It's sonically very well done. Like the mix is perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it. It's mostly just subjective things on the arrangement and the writing. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, I suppose. But you know, amazing work, man. I'm always constantly impressed by your stuff. I don't have too many critiques on this outside of just some arrangement stuff, you know. I also thought one conceivably cool idea could be like you have all of the syncopation through the whole song. If you went to a section of the song that was completely legato and gave like a moment of clarity. So like it's like I mean, this is gonna be so quick and dirty, but like even just like a saw bass line here, right? Like super simple. Hold on. I don't know what your chords are. But, you know, something, I don't know. And maybe even like not do the plucks here, right? Like, this is again just an idea. You don't have to use this. Again, I'm completely satisfied with how you had it. I'm unable to break that up, but I would keep like the strings, right? Oh, I can break it up. Something along these lines, I think, and then you could go the minor route too, like. Or even like there, like. And then that would have to be like the. Just an idea. You can try it if you want to. Otherwise, you don't have to. I think that could be cool to have like a big moment, right? You like the high stuff, right? Like the... Something like this, maybe. I don't know. You can try that. I think that's about as much as I'm going to do on this. I mean, it's so close. I love it. Your mixing is impeccable, like probably better than my own in terms of like placing stuff in the stereo field. No qualms there. I think that you're right on the right track with this one. Those are just my suggestions from an arrangement point of view. Try to make the drops a little bit different from the intro and outro. Make it more like, you know, staccato or less staccato and more legato maybe, or even like you can go staccato but like go faster, or like play into that 16th note feeling you're building here, right? Like almost like Emerald something kick drum by what's his name, John Hopkins. I think that'd be kind of cool reference here. But yeah, man, great work. I don't have any other critiques on this. I don't want to overbake the cake, as it were, but I hope that those are some ideas that you can implement. I think there's so many good ideas here. I don't want to overdo it and direct you down the wrong path, but I wanted to give you some ideas that I had while listening and maybe some ways you can take it. Again, they're all very subjective, like music things, not like technical stuff, because I think you have the technical prowess down. But those are the things I would change if I was like to, let's say, collaborate on this. But yeah, amazing work, man. Everybody give Infinikid another big round of applause. And I think with that wraps up this month's Fix Your Project stream. I am going to be on Discord in about 30-40 minutes. I might run a little bit late. I'm going to eat some lunch beforehand, but we're going to do our Patreon meetup call over on Discord. If you're a patron of the channel of any level, $5 or above, you can join in on the call and the conversation. Submit your tracks for our monthly feedback circle. So you can submit a SoundCloud link, and then we'll all listen to it in the chat, give you feedback on that. I think today I'm going to implement like a time limit rule, because we've been getting so many sessions. The calls have been going for hours on end. I might play like only a minute or two of each track, maybe 3, 4. But sometimes we get like 8-minute tracks, and it's like, okay, that's too much. But anyway, if you guys want to submit to that, go over to discord.gg/JulianGray. And if you want to submit to next month's Fix Your Project stream, you can go to patreon.com/JulianGray and find out all the information you need there. Excellent work to everyone who submitted to the stream today. I always really enjoy working on your projects, and these are some of the coolest ones we've gotten in the past few streams. I'm really happy with them, and I'm glad I've been able to make a dent in some of these. If you're new to the channel and you just caught this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I know I keep using that animation. I'm just very proud of it. Made that myself in After Effects. And yeah, I will see you guys over on Discord for those of you who want to join in on our monthly meetup call. And I just created a reoccurring event in Discord, so you can actually RSVP each month if you want to, so we know you're coming and can plan accordingly. So I'm Julian of Julian Gray Media. I don't think there's anything else to announce today. I do have a show coming up, actually. Those of you who are in the Pacific Northwest, whether it's Vancouver, Portland, or Seattle, I'm actually playing Seattle at Substation next month on the 17th of February. If you want to find out more information about that, I'll be posting about that very soon. I'm excited to get up there again. I haven't played out there for a few years. Anyway, I will talk to you guys in the next stream or the next video, whatever comes first. Probably a stream, knowing my upload schedule. And I'll see you over on Discord. All right. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.